the photo booth strip from a room I never booked. The email wore confetti it hadn't earned. "Your photos are ready," the subject said, and below it, in a font designed to be friendly to people who spend too much on weekends, Linden Annex Photo Booth Session 614. I was at our kitchen table pretending receipts were a kind of prayer when the preview line added the small betrayal of accuracy. "Thanks for visiting. Download your strip." I don't take photo booth pictures. I don't book Linden Annex rooms. But here was a link carved out of a party I didn't attend, asking me to become a witness. I tapped because my worst habits have good manners. The page opened into 4 rectangles stacked like a throat that couldn't decide whether to breathe. The first frame was the lobby I knew from advertisements that tried too hard. Brick performing heritage, a marble console performing apology, the card tinted beside a bowl of green apples reading, without shame, "Welcome." The second was closer, the angle of a human who hadn't learned to be framed. Half of a shoulder in a jacket I recognized only because I dislike it, a slice of cheek not mine. The third was a balcony that thinks it's the river, the railing a horizontal trapped in vertical lives. The fourth was a kiss cropped by accident into evidence, a mouth that could only be hers, and someone's knuckles pressed white against glass that had never intended to be a witness. There's a moment your stomach learns it can both fall and stand. Mara had texted at 6 with our hyphen, "Studio late, don't wait." She gets rooms to keep their promises under lighting. I get rooms to sound like their apologies aren't rehearsed. We have jobs that teach you the shape of a lie before it finds a mouth. I scrolled for the mercy of metadata. There it was, timestamp hiding its shame in gray, and a second line, "Copies sent to paying email." Mine, of course. Apple Pay had been kinder to my marriage than to my inbox. I set the phone on the counter because our superstition is simple. Anything that wants to own us sits on flat surfaces where both of us can see it. I poured water over pasta because heat prefers patience, and I put 2 glasses near the phone like I was trying to bribe fate into behaving. At 8:11 the lock turned. The hallway wrote its thin yellow under the door like a reporter who knows the lead is the first sentence. Mara stepped in with hair pinned, and the face she uses when a wall thinks it's smarter than she is, and she forgives it anyway. She saw my mouth auditioning weather. She set her bag down and did the bravest thing I know, came close and didn't pretend this wasn't what it was. "You saw it," she said. "Linden Annex says I'm photogenic," I said, and pushed the phone toward her like a small, heavy animal. She didn't flinch. She looked until looking stopped being a performance. "Kitchen or small room?" she asked. "The small room is where the ugly lamp lives and our rule sheet hangs crooked on the back of a takeout menu because scripture should be cleanable. The kitchen is where knives live and mercy is within reach." "Here," I said. "Let the refrigerator over here." She set both palms on the island the way she steadies a rig when a sponsor gets metaphors. "Theo insisted I see the lobby wall after hours," she said. "He thinks light is honest when it believes it's being illicit." He pointed at the balcony as if the river owed him a verdict. I said no. Then I kissed him once to stop the sentence men like him practice. "You look different when you're not managing from becoming a paragraph." It wasn't good. It tasted like italics. We took the elevator down because stairs make honesty look like punishment. The photo booth was near the bar like a dare for people who believe in souvenirs more than memory. He fed it a bill. I let my face be a person who owed nobody a performance. Then I remembered I love you more than being interesting. "What did you want?" I asked, and didn't try to make the word into a blade. "To see if the switch is dead," she said. "The one labeled ruin and call it clarity, it still clicks if I push. It's not thrilling. I can negotiate with it. Do you want him? The question costs less now. Practice is the only grace I trust. She breathed in the way that stretches a chest and a timeline. No, she said. I want an hour where my face is mine and no one uses it as a noun. He impersonates that hour. You build it here. We stood without touching while the basil pretended to judge. Then I pulled the rule sheet off the fridge, uncapped the pen that lives in the sugar bowl, and wrote what I write whenever we refuse to become a scene for other people. Truth before souvenirs. Mara nodded and added beneath, in the handwriting that makes producers sit up straighter even over email. If a picture wants to become proof, my mouth speaks first in this room. I wrote, if you think you have to kiss someone to learn you don't want them, tell me before your body tries to publish. She underlined tell twice, the way love dresses as a warning when it intends to keep you. Storm or quiet? She asked, not coy, code. Quiet, I said, then whether we mop. We ate the pasta we weren't hungry for because chairs are treaties. After, she came around the island and set her mouth under my ear where grammar resigns. My hands remembered their map without me thinking. Both hips, the square at the top of her spine that resets catastrophes. She stepped back onto the counter with the competence of a person who builds physics and the hunger of a person who refuses to be a device. We were careful because spectacle is for lobbies, greedy because yes is a budget, and this is where we spend it. We stopped while stopping meant tomorrow would want us. We leaned foreheads until breath learned to be furniture. In the morning, the inbox wanted to be a cousin. Print your strip, it suggested, as if paper could be a sacrament. I archived it with more gentleness than it deserved. Mara forwarded the email she'd sent at midnight. No more after hours. Photos at noon. Boardroom or nothing. He replied with the sentence men practice until it fits. Understood. He CC'd the building manager the way penance begs for witnesses. A week of competence followed, which is to say we did the boring heroic things people never post. I tuned a black box theater back to human. Mara coaxed a museum wall into letting noon be noon. At 1:12 a.m., when my chest rehearsed its oldest soliloquy, she took my hand, set it at the hinge where her neck becomes back, and said, quiet. The house obeyed like it remembered who pays rent. Then the booth tried to be a friend again. We noticed you didn't download your high-res, it chirped at lunchtime. The link glittered like a thin apology. I tapped, because superstition without verification is just romance. The strip loaded with a new thumbnail I hadn't noticed, frame 5, outtakes. I opened it and saw a fifth rectangle none of us intended. The two of them sitting in that box, not kissing, not staging, just caught in the interior light of a machine too dumb to lie. Her hand on her knee. His hand on nothing. The kind of stillness that makes you admit which parts of yourself you've outgrown. I showed her that one at dinner. She looked until the image spared her. That's what it was, she said. A person I practiced being, refusing to perform, then leaving. We failed anyway because verbs. A dry cleaner called to confirm alterations on a black silk that does not ask for my opinion. I brought it home, set the bag on the chair reserved for conversations we won't have standing. Mara touched the plastic like a meteor you invite to supper. Some fabrics want to make trouble, she said. Some want tile. That night she wore it with socks and said storm like a table blessing. We obeyed. We stopped when stopping meant desire could roll into morning solvent. Theo learned humility like a second language. At a donor event where wine tried to replace character, he nodded at the precise angle and said to Mara, "The lobby sings." "We tuned the audience," she said. My petty heart forgave him for the 3 seconds it took to behave. Photos built a memory I let live. 30 seconds of our kitchen under the ugly lamp. 2 glasses. Basil pretending to be immortal. my stupid hands drying a plate like it needed encouragement. I played it twice without music because the room already knows the key. The strip tried a last trick. Give a gift, the email begged. Send a copy to someone special. I clicked and typed our address and pressed send. The printer coughed into life like an old priest. The paper slid out with our 4 frames time-stamped into a story neither of us wanted to tell strangers. I took the strip and a magnet shaped like a lemon and taped it, not to the fridge, not to the small room, not to any surface that would turn it into vocabulary. I taped it inside a cabinet door where we keep sugar and the pen, where only the 2 of us ever reach. We added one more line to the rule sheet, crooked because tape is human. If a machine insists on saving us, we decide where. On a Thursday that remembered how to be kind, we took folding chairs to the roof because roofs are what balconies want to be when they grow up. The sky refused metaphor. We kissed anyway. We went downstairs because fantasy gets heavy and our kitchen likes us better when we're sober. This morning my phone thought it had learned something. Add this to your memories, it asked, a little blue square pretending it had feelings. I pressed less like this with a gratitude humans rarely earn. Mara came in from the hall with the good mug and sleep in her hair. Storm or quiet, she asked, not because we were in danger, but because beginning that way saves good days too. Both, I said, in the order you like. She stepped into me like a person who had decided to stay on a weekday. The basil tried a new leaf. The ugly lamp failed at beauty and triumphed at honesty. We did the work that turns rooms back into houses. We stopped while stopping was extravagant. If you came for an ending, you can have the only one we're practicing. When a strip arrives from a room I never booked, I set it on the counter and make space for the person who did. We read it like a map and then choose our city. We pour water because heat prefers patience. We speak before machines get to narrate us. And when the world asks for proof that anything good is still possible, we make out in our kitchen like adults with rules, and then we stop on purpose, and the refrigerator keeps humming like it knows our names.